Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, man awarded $80 million in Monsanto's Roundup. I said Monsanto. So, the claim is it causes cancer. So, let's get into this article. And I have done a video about this particular product. I still see it in, like places like Home Depot and garden and tool stores and whatnot. But I don't think people realize how serious this whole thing is because it can get into the food. How? Well, let's investigate this. Okay, so this is out of business. So, man awarded $80 million in lawsuit claiming Monsanto's Roundup causes cancer. Okay, so this is Kelly Tyco out of USA Today. 8 days after a U.S. jury found that Roundup weed killer was a substantial factor in a California man's cancer, it has awarded him $80 million in damages. So the six-person jury in San Francisco returned its verdict in favor of Edwin Hardman, 70 years old, who said that he used Monsanto's Roundup products to treat poison oak overgrowth and weeds on his property for years. So, hold on one second. All right, so let me really get into this. Okay, so it's called agribusiness, an agribusiness giant, or agribusiness giant Monsanto, which was purchased by German giant Bayer last June. So Bayer, I believe that's the Bayer, the pills for a headache and whatnot. I believe they also are in on the Monsanto um, issue. So they've also gotten under fire behind all of this. So they were involved in this lawsuit as well. So they're facing thousands of similar lawsuits nationwide. So this case could help determine the fate of the lawsuits, Hardman's attorneys say. So Bayer said in the statement that it will appeal the verdict. So trying to get out of this. So you can see it here. So you know that I'm not just making it up. So it's all on front page, at least on Yahoo's front page, of course. And so it goes on to say, I'm reading this from the article. Let's see here. Bayer said in a statement that it will appeal the verdict, and the verdict in the trial has no impact on future cases and trials, as each one has its own factual and legal circumstance. The company said in the statement, according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer. So, a branch of the World Health Organization, glyphosate, a pesticide and herbicide, which is best known as the ingredient in Roundup, is the probable human carcinogen. Okay. Which means carcinogen is cancer causing. Okay. So there's some additional articles that are on this saying strawberries, spinach, kale have most residue, a new report finds. Pesticides are also found in food. Drug settlement is also going on Oxycontin maker Oxycontin maker reaches $270 million settlement for painkillers' role in opioid crisis. So that's an additional article. But that sounds like it has to do with something sort of big in terms of a settlement in and of itself. But both Monsanto and Bayer have said that studies have established that the active ingredient in its widely used weed killer is safe. So I've heard this in other articles that they put out about this weed killer, that it's relatively safe, because some people were asking, if they're spraying this to get rid of weeds, what if they do this on crops, which, people, if it's edible crops, things that people are going to eventually eat, can this also cause the same pesticide type of thing to get into the food and people eat it, and then it cause cancer? So we are disappointed with the jury's decision, but the verdict, this is what they're saying, Bear and the people from Monsanto. Okay, so they said they're disappointed with the jury's decision, but the verdict does not change the weight of over 4 decades of extensive science and the conclusion of regulators worldwide that support the safety of our glyphosate based herbicides, and that they are not carcinogenic, Bayer has said. And so a different jury in August awarded another man 289 million. Wow, that's a lot of money. So, but if you see how these people have been affected by this particular product, that is the reason for them being awarded that amount of money. And they had to come with proof that these particular products were cancer or carcinogenic, cancer causing products that cause their health issues and ailing issues. So a judge later slashed the award to about 78 million. So I did a story on that, and it was a guy whom he had actually worked using this product and at his workplace. I believe he was doing landscaping, and he said he had worked with this product for many, many months, many years, I believe. And so you could see that he had peeling skin. So Monsanto has appealed. So they're very adamant about saying that this particular, if you've seen this particular product, they claim to be safe, but there's been many lawsuits about this product having this weed and grass killer having a carcinogenic effect towards humans. So Hardman's trial may be more significant. The U.S. Judge Vince Cahabria is overseeing hundreds of Roundup lawsuits. So there's lots of other people. There's not just this one and the one before, but there's been many people who have complained about this particular product right here, that it has caused them some type of bodily harm. So goes on to say that the case and two others bellwether trials. Okay, so Nathan Donnelly, a senior scientist at a Center for Biological Diversity, said in a statement of USA Today that the jurors correctly held Monsanto's responsible for Hardman's cancer, so a moral responsibility for any harm caused by the pesticide should be shared by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency regulators, who ignored independent science and failed to protect Americans from this dangerous toxin, Donnelly said. So Ken Cook, president of the Environmental Working Group, EWG, abbreviated, said in a statement that the testimony that informed the jury's decision was Bayer Monsanto hiding Roundup's carcinogenic properties, manipulating the science, and cozying up with EPA so it would not have to warn consumers of its dangerous product. So the cancer-linked herbicide glyphosate was found in more than 24 popular breakfast cereals. Okay, so this is where I come up with the idea, or it's not really an idea, it's actually factual here. Says that there are 24 popular breakfast cereals and snack bars, according to Environmental Advocacy Organization report last year, where glyphosate was found in them. And this is where I get, if you're using that type of spray, what if it gets into the crops that are edible, that people could probably ingest it and become ill with cancer or develop some type of carcinogenic effect? So in levels higher than what EWG scientists consider protective of children's health. Okay, so There's a big problem with this product. So a lot of people have had multiple lawsuits towards Monsanto and Bayer. So Bayer and Monsanto has known for decades the cancer causing properties of Roundup, and I applaud the jury for holding the company accountable for failing to warn consumers of the known danger, Cook said Wednesday. So, in late February, the public interest advocacy group USPIRG released a report revealing that tests of five wines. And, where does wine come from? Fruits that are fermented. Um, so, and also beers, which are fermented, including organic ones as well, found traces of glyphosate in 19 out of the 20. And so this is a real problematic situation. So the additional article was an article originally appeared in the USA Today where the man was awarded $80 million in a lawsuit claiming Monsanto's causes cancer. And so that was probably one that I did formally. I was going to click on it because there was a guy who he actually worked in an environment where he used the Roundup weed killer, and he actually, you could see, I don't think they're showing him here, but this was a similar story where this man, he worked at his job and he used the weed killer and it eventually caused him bodily harm. So he had an $80 million lawsuit. So, or actually not an $80 million lawsuit. It went from, I think it was higher than that. It was like 280 something. And then it went down to like, I think 70 something, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I would have to go back because I believe they somehow changed the figure of how much they were going to award him in court. And I believe it's actually in here because this man, you could literally see his skin look like it was peeling off of his body. It was really sad. You could tell he was suffering from something that was really bad. It wasn't something that was made up. And so I believe he was awarded 289 million, but the judge later slashed it to 78 million. It's still a million. But this person right here has been awarded actually the 80 million. And so there's been a lot of people who have come in contact with this particular weed killer, and I see people using this because they have to use it on their job. People who are involved in horticulture and landscaping of some sort, dealing with um, plant crops and whatnot, and anybody that does anything with lawn care. And if they come in contact with this particular product, they end up becoming ill behind it. And so, what are your thoughts and feedback on this? It's a lot of money, but more importantly, that Bayer and Monsanto, they keep denying and not admitting that their product is not safe. That there's so many people coming forward with the similar illnesses having to do with cancer. So anyway, I thought this was something to think about because a lot of times people don't think about where their food is coming from. And like the cereals that they found them in, wine and showing up in the glyphosate, that's the particular, um, well, that's one of the chemicals, the main chemicals that has been found in this particular product that they spray in plants and things that are more than likely edible. And humans have been ingesting it or they've come in contact with it in some type of form or fashion. So they've developed cancer behind this. I would say there's probably going to be a lot more lawsuits, especially now that we're made aware that a lot of the food that is being produced that has this particular product could be causing premature deaths. And who knows what else is out there. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to let this video go. Until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for listening.